Welcome everyone. Today we are having our first interaction with Dr. Gaganpreet Singh, who has done his PhD from IIT Kanpur. He did his PhD in 2021 and he got Best Thesis Award for his thesis, and also he got nearly 20 publications from PhD, out of which 13 were journal publication and 7 to 8 were conference publications. So Gaganpreet Singh, welcome to this interaction session for guidance for the awareness in postdoc session. So my first question is to you is about if I've left something about your introduction, please give a brief introduction about yourself.
Thanks, Dr. Atinder. First of all, I am from Punjab, Patiala district, and I did my BTech from Banda Singh Bahad Engineering College, Fatehgarh Sahib. After my BTech, I take GATE 2014, from which I got admission in MTech plus PhD dual degree at IIT Kanpur. Then it's pretty much so. So I did my MTech plus PhD from 2014 to 2021. My defense was in January 2021, so I was almost finished in 2020 itself. So that's that's pretty much it. So
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Gaganpreet Singh. My first question to you is about your PhD journey. How was it, and what is your suggestions to the current PhD students about their approach toward PhD?
My PhD journey is for me is the best time of my student life after my school time. So I really enjoyed it. Not first thing is the research that I have done in PhD. That was the most important part of my PhD, and my research was very much focused on the practical applications. So what I have done in PhD, I have developed metamaterials for stealth applications, and throughout my PhD work, I could see where the developed products that we are researching for in my PhD will be used after my PhD. And apart from that, the reason why I enjoyed it the most, because I have participated in a lot of other activities. I have been part of the institute hockey team. I was also president of my hostel, and then again I was also I was involved in a lot of other activities, and of course I was very active in Punjabi community. So those 7 years was the best part of my student life. And if the advice for current students is, I will give two advices. First thing, during PhD, never back from learning something new. Don't just focus on the end result. It's like just focus on the process, and just whatever keep coming on your way, learn it thoroughly. Just don't take the shortcuts, because you will never know what is going to help you after your PhD. And second is, it's not an easy thing to do. PhD is like it is something that was told to me by my friend, that PhD is like a sine cosine curves, so it has its ups and downs. So you should always have something apart from your academics, either participate in sports or in some other activities, but always have something that is completely different from your uh, professional life. So that just keep maintaining that balance in your life, and that I think is very, very important to develop some hobby during your PhD.
Okay. So the gist is that a PhD student should have extracurricular activities included in his life, balance in
Yeah.
work and personal
Hmm.
life. And secondly, he should also not focus on the end result like PhD, getting PhD degree, rather on the
Hmm.
process, and he should enhance his skill set during the whole way.
Yes. Yeah.
I have one more question regarding this journey also. How much collaboration has helped you during your PhD work?
A lot, because I have done my PhD in manufacturing. On paper, I have only one guide, but actually I have been working with professor from physics, who helped me a lot more than even like co-guide. We worked very closely. Then also we have a professor from electrical department. So like I have three mentors during my PhD, and then we are a group of about 10 to 12 students from different streams. So the work that I have done is multidisciplinary. So if I would say that we don't have any collaborations, I want to have that number of publications, and we may not achieve what we have achieved after, in my PhD. So in nutshell, we after my PhD we have two end products which were completely ready to be taken by industry, and one of that had already been taken by industry. So if we didn't have that collaborations, we could have never achieved that target.
Okay, so collaboration is one of the boosting thing for the PhD work. And I asked
Definitely.
one more question linked to this one is that how difficult is it to collaborate with other people?
I think it's more of a personality trait than to just put it into words. It's easy for someone like me uh, because yeah, it's I can become friends with someone very quickly. But I can't say that it's very general thing. Sometimes you have to also understand the environment of other lab, uh, because every individual is different, and the way of working of every lab is different. So when you collaborate, you try to get into some other group which doesn't work exactly as your own group. So you have to mold yourself according to that group. So
Okay,
that's the important thing, but it's not something that is very hard to do. It's again, it's for your own sake. Just do it in one way or another way. You have to do it.
okay. So now coming to the star question of the interaction, how did you get your postdoc position in Sweden?
Uh, so after PhD, I have been applying for postdocs. Actually, I got two postdocs, and my experiences both are quite different. For the first one I got in Sweden in Stockholm University. Other one was in EPFL Switzerland. And I'll tell you both. So first is quite random. So what I did is like of course I was doing everything like how to mail professors and how to find professors where I could do my postdoc. So the first thing was very random. So what I did is my area is metamaterials. So I used Google Scholar for that. So I take the list out of all the experts in metamaterials, and then I started searching for someone which I think will be quite young and is also quite good, and because it's kind of I thought that would be the best way, because when someone if some younger professor have a lot of projects, then it would be easy to get postdoc. And then from that list, I mailed my professor. His name is John Goodmundson, who is currently my PI in Stockholm. Uh, Lucky for enough for me, he has published an advertisement for the postdoc position, and then it just goes like from forth and backwards. So we just keep interacting on the mail. But one thing that I should say is like I am from mechanical engineering. My professor is from astrophysics. So initially, we both were not sure that whether we will be able to work uh, on the desired project. So the project is something like that, which needs. I have worked with lot of different techniques in my PhD. Apart from manufacturing with laser and all, I also had some experience in RF measurements, and that is what is required in the current project. So the current project required development of metamaterial lenses for microwave millimeter waves, and it include everything like from manufacturing to characterization, measurement, and everything. So I have experience of that in my PhD. But again, because I am from mechanical, my professor is from astrophysics, there is still we need to have some kind of confidence in each other. So what we did is we write for a short fellowship, which was just for 6 months. We write for that fellowship. So I arrived in Sweden for only 6 months initially. But after just 2 months, we just got to know about each other, and we know that we can work uh, collaboratively, and we both have different skill sets which we could use over the year to develop something really good. So this is the first postdoc. The another one is I got in EPFL with Oliver Martin. Oliver Martin is kind of very uh, pioneer in the area of metamaterials or plasmonics. I got that postdoc because he is a friend of my professor, and then he visited IIT Kanpur for institute lecture. During that time, we interact. He visited our lab, and with him also, I wrote Swiss fellowship. So Swiss fellowship was for 1 year, and because he definitely agreed because he knew my professor, and then he got my professor gave a good recommendation about me. Then that's another experience. So we wrote that fellowship. We got that fellowship, but unfortunately, I couldn't join Switzerland. Uh, because Switzerland has a different visa. Uh, uh, what should I say? Like uh,
Yes.
rules. They have different visa rules. So like
Okay.
they will only give visa to me. Then after I reach Switzerland, I can apply visa for my wife. And B, because that was for 1 year, and here my professor have already offered me a 3 years postdoc. Yeah.
Okay. So the next question from your answer is that how many emails did you send to different professors during your time of finding PhD? Oh, postdoc.
To be honest, I don't remember the number exactly, but I think it would be definitely between 30 to 40, something like
Okay.
that. And
Okay.
uh, yeah, it's like I was not getting response for all my emails, but 1 out of 10, I would say that I received some kind of response. Someone was saying that I currently don't have project. Someone just also appreciated my CV, what I have done in my PhD. So it's kind of boosting if someone just say that I don't have project right now, but you have a very interesting CV. I look forward if we'll have something in future for you. Uh, then someone there are a few also who just send a questionnaire type of thing. So okay, could you answer this question so that I could know you better. And yeah, so I would say 1 out of 10 response, but I would definitely send about 30, 40 or 50 emails for postdocs.
Okay. And if I want to know that how many of them were basically in Europe or versus US? How many of them were sent to US versus and instead of Europe?
I haven't, to be honest, take count of that. Like I think it will be pretty even. Like it will be definitely about 40, 60%. I've also sent emails to Australia and New Zealand. So
Okay.
but from Europe and USA. Yeah, I also
Okay.
received an email back from Canada too. So yeah.
Okay. So coming up to the next question is that what is the difference between research cultures in India and Sweden?
It's quite different. Uh, so a the interaction between the student and professor is not as formal in Sweden as it in India. So I really like the culture of not calling your professor sir or your senior sir in Sweden. It's just not that because we don't respect uh, the professors. It is just that it gives you slightly in that hierarchical structure. It gives you slightly more freedom to express yourself when you are not that formal to keep saying everyone sir sir sir. And the other thing is like students is here it's like student in a way it's independent too. So students here collaborates a lot with each other with other groups, and sometime in that collaboration professor is not involved. Like it's not mandatory for the a supervisor of a student to be collaborated in all the collaboration that student is getting involved into. So student has some kind of more freedom as compared to us in India. And then again, like for experimental work, it's a bit difficult, to be honest. It's a bit easier in India because you have lots of people to help you. You have lots of staff to help you, and you don't have a Saturday, Sunday in India, which is quite a thing in Europe. So the work culture is from Monday to Friday, and you don't work on Saturday, Sunday, and no one works on Saturday, Sunday. So if you are experimentalist, because during experiment sometime it is important that you should work on Saturday sometime, like because you have limited access to a certain experimental facilities and you can't just waste there in that time. But you won't find other people to help you. You don't have enough staff to help you. So you have to do it by yourself. Everything you have to do it by yourself. From making small part to doing all the technical observations and characterization. So it's quite different, but it's relaxing. It's definitely more relaxing in doing PhD in Europe than as compared to India.
Okay. Next question is that how easy is for married students, PhD scholars, to get a postdoc and take their family to Sweden?
It's quite easy. If you're already married, you just have to apply visa together and they will give you visa. So it's quite easy. So if you're married or unmarried, the initial visa process doesn't change. It's same for everyone. You just need to add your family member into the into that visa application. So it's really good if you first get married, then apply for visa. If it would be the other way around, if you first apply for visa and then get married, then it is quite difficult. It's not difficult that your wife will not get visa, but uh, the waiting time is more about like 6 to 8 months. If you apply visa for your wife after marriage, after visa, you apply for your wife visa. But initially, if you apply with your the first visa when you're applying for yourself, then you both will get visa at the same time, and the waiting time is 2 to 3 months.
Okay. So Dr. Gagan, I just want to know one more thing from you. How important is CV during these postdoc applications? Uh, is there any way to enhance your CV so that it should look good to the professor abroad?
I think so. It is very important because CV is kind of the first impression that you are giving to an unknown person. Because you also have to understand, because if someone is offering you postdoc or even considering you for offering a postdoc, uh, he don't have like all the time to know you. He will just interview you for like half an hour or an hour, and everything starts from your CV. So in CV, I would say it's very important. It's just not that writing what you have done throughout your career. It's very important to highlight uh, what you have achieved in your career. So for example, I can give you two examples. First, from my own CV. So we were kind of the first research group to reported a transparent machining of indium tin oxide for developing a metamaterial observer, and that to be in a controlled way, that we can control transparency of machined indium tin oxide. So initially, I used to write it like a paper title: Alzheimer laser micromachining of indium tin oxide for transparent metamaterial observer. So when my Professor Anantha, who is currently the director of CSIO, he just gone through my CV and he was like, where it is coming through that you are the first person to machine indium tin oxide, and that too transparently. So it's like the patterns that we machined were transparent. So I changed it to a first research group to report controllable machining of indium tin oxide for transparent metamaterial observer. So that statement makes, which is true, is making a completely different impact from my previous statement. And the other example I can give you is from my wife CV. So she also had applied for a postdoc, and not for a postdoc. She was writing a fellowship with the professor from Stockholm University, and she is the like second position holder in university. And when that professor asked her to just fill some form so that he could write it very clearly, she didn't mention that thing very explicitly. So what he did is he had an like with short Zoom interaction, he asked like what this statement means. So she said like, okay, so uh, throughout the university, like what's like second upper means, right? So according to him, that it's quite an achievement. It's not something something that everyone can have. So you should always make sure that even if you think it is not achievement for you, you find it very regular thing, but it could be a quite achievement. So make sure what you have achieved in your career, you make sure to highlight that in CV. So that's the important thing, and that is how you can improve your CV.
Okay. So I just want to ask that what is the one thing that you miss about India in Sweden?
Chani mildi hai. Yeah, so that's the only thing I miss. Like you don't have friends to have tea during your working hours. I wish
So
there will be like more tea stalls in
okay,
Sweden.
okay. In India, we have a culture of going to tea maybe 3 times in a whole day during your working hours.
So in India, we have tea, and during in between those teas, we work.
But I think tea is the one place where we share our research problems with each other, and there might we have a great chance of getting collaborated with others. And
Yeah.
so instead of tea, what do you have there in Sweden? Where do you discuss your
Oh
collaborative
yeah,
options?
that is quite a that's a really good question. I want to share it with you. So what we have here is the because we don't have mess culture in Sweden, so not students and professors, they don't go to mess. So everyone brought their lunch, and then for every department or even every corridor have a section where everyone sit together and have lunch. So
Okay.
their professors were also there, like all professors are there, and the students are also there, postdocs are also there. So I would say that that is one thing that if it could be possible, it should be introduced somewhere in India, because that I found it really nice place to share ideas. And it also helps you to overcome of that fear of talking to your peers. Like I would definitely say in India we have that fear that it's not easy for us to go to someone and just talk, because we always lack that confidence that we are good. But somehow I think this small things help. So this is something quite good that I found in Sweden.
I will also share one story of mine in IIT Delhi with you. When I got a project position in IIT Delhi, I used to have my lunch on my desk only. Where I was working, I used to listen to some other videos, like some lectures during
Yeah.
that lunch period while having
Mhm.
lunch. But after I just got an advice from someone that during lunch you can have your lunch with your peers. In this way, you will have more ideas about research and collaborations. And this
Yes.
really worked for me.
Yeah.
After this thing, I applied this thing in my day-to-day life. I started having my lunch with other students in the lab, PhD students,
Mm.
and they started opening up to me. I started telling them
Yes.
what I am doing. They started telling me what
Yeah.
they have to do. So
Yeah.
this way, I have come up with nearly 3, 4 more research ideas where I can do
Uh,
some more work.
mm.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's
Yeah.
also one of the things that can help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But still, no, nothing can replace tea. So tea session. Tea session was more important.
Okay. Okay. So
Yes.
with this, I would like to thank you for your time, and
Uh,
we really appreciate that you have find some time for all the viewers and come here to share your views. Thank you, Gaganpreet Singh.
thank you. It was a pleasure. So, very enjoy talking with you. So, hopefully, I'll try my best if further anything comes to help all my friends and colleagues in India. So, thanks a lot for inviting me.
Okay. Bye bye.